There we go.
All set.
Okay, so we all set now?
Yep.
Okay.
People open away. Please envelop the sanity so completely in love that all needs, wants, and desires are chosen.
And greetings.
Greetings, wonders.
Greetings, Maggie.
Would you please go to whom, to where, and to when you are directed? Would you please locate your facilitator, Maggie Gadet, on May 7th, 2011?
Yes, we have you.
We are gathered here at 8361 11th line, RR number 2, Thornton, Ontario, to do a general session for the Changing the World Now workshop group entitled Presenting a Model That You Can Live With. Would you please begin?
Greetings, dear friends.
Greetings, wonders.
We've had conversations with you about a number of perspectives around society, around the world. But let's look at a model that the whole world can live with. Something that, in effect, will allow movement, change, and growth, while at the same time maintaining a sense of stability and security. So, in effect, if the world would move towards a government, world or otherwise, a singular world government based on guidance, then by moving to a singular world government, you can maintain the integrity of the world. Now, it would still require regional governments. And based on the perspectives that exist in the world that you have today, regional governments could not be based upon religion. Religion has become, and will continue to be, the most dividing aspect of your societies. It is that which nurtures separation from yourselves and each other. Religion, in effect, is the anathema to a world based on guidance. So, regional governments must not be religious or religious-based. But if governments and individuals were to recognize that good government comes not from power, not from institutionalization, not from religious aspects, but good government comes from the willingness to encourage self-responsibility, encourage self-appreciation, and encourage the sharing of that with each other, well then you would have a government that is truly by the people, for the people. Most individuals, to one degree or another, have an element of hate within them. It's not to say all, but most do. And this hate is oftentimes fueled by religious aspects. So, that which would allow that hate to dissipate is not the removal of religion, but rather the guidance to the very essence of religion, the very essence of appreciation of the self. Spirituality, as we've said many times in the past, is within religion. So governments can guide individuals to gain the awareness of spirituality that is within religion, not the awareness of division that exists within religion. As such, therefore, governments can guide individuals, not from a spiritual perspective, not to say this is the way to go spiritually, but to say uncover and discover for yourselves your own spirituality, what it is. Eventually, this model will take over the planet, by the way.
Which model?
The model we're suggesting.
Okay, yes. Mm-hmm.
Eventually, this will come to fruition. It may take a long time, but it will get there. So the key is, what can be done now to encourage this movement? Again, this requires a willingness to speak out, to create a dialogue, to move forward with this dialogue, to have these conversations at all levels. The United Nations is an interesting body which presently is used as a way to bring the world together. It is oftentimes used with punitiveness. It is oftentimes used with manipulation. And oftentimes it is used as a way to sanction and to judge others. What if the United Nations was reorganized from an active organization created to judge the world to the true intent of its original organization, which is an organization designed to encourage regions within the world to set aside their differences and as a result come together in a common framework of commonality. So the United Nations must be reorganized, redefined, refocused, if you want to call it that. And that conversation, the dialogue on the reorganization, the refocusing of the United Nations must take place not at the leadership level of the world, but at the grassroots level, the level of the individuals of the world. Your level. So these discussions, these dialogues, these conversations must begin at this level now.
About the model.
About the desires. So, the key is there will be many, many incarnations before you become one singular government with many regions. You will still have differences of culture, differences of religion, though we assure you, religion mostly fosters the divisions of culture. Culture is usually justified on the basis of religion. So you eliminate religions and the influence religions have. By that we don't mean eliminate all religions. We're saying eliminate the influence religions have on governments, and you have a greater probability of gaining a one world government. Each region in the world has its own difficulties. If you live in a mountainous area, you have certain climatic difficulties, certain difficulties with regards to food and clothing. If you live in a flatland, desert area, the same situation. Each region is unique to itself. But the uniqueness is not to be used as a way to justify the maintaining of a separate identity. The uniqueness, rather, is to be used in the regional governments as a way to elicit assistance that the one world government can then truly guide the world to its true brilliance. This, we assure you, will eventually take place on the planet Earth. The question is when and how soon. Do you think?
Yes.
Questions?
So it's up to us to start the conversations and let people know that
Absolutely.
this is a possibility.
Absolutely. Not just a possibility. Of course, if you don't believe in this, if you don't see this as part of what you would like to move towards, any conversation becomes preaching then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not a conversation. It becomes a one-way push. So the key here is to jump on the bandwagon, as they say, and to start seeing this as a probable, possible solution to that which is creating division within the planet right now. Look at your situation with regards to global warming. Your scientists from all walks of life are sitting there saying to you the world is getting hotter. People from all walks of life are sitting there saying, yep, the world's getting hotter. Your politicians are sitting there saying, but I'm not going to let that affect my country. I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm not going to be responsible for other people. No, I don't believe it. Yes, I do believe it. Etc., etc. The resultant is you cannot even agree as a number of different countries on the solutions that your scientists have presented. Never mind agreeing on the fact that the problem exists. Under a one-world government, regional governments, if you want to call them that, would not be discussing whether global warming truly does exist, but rather would be actually expressing the impact that global warming has on their regions and looking for assistance from everyone there present on how to minimize that impact. So there wouldn't be a necessity for defensiveness. There wouldn't be a necessity for entrenching yourself into a psychology of me first, you second. What about me? Because everyone would work for the common goal of the movement of the planet. Now, will this happen before you move out into space exploration? Probability exists. It's not high, but it's growing. But why wait till you become a space pioneering world and encounter alien races and then say to yourselves, oh boy, I guess we better get together and come up with one singular face to the common enemy? Why even create common enemies? You don't even need to create enemies. The key here is to ask yourself, in the dialogue, what kind of world do we want to live in? And that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've encouraged this now for a number of months. What kind of world do you choose to live in? If this dialogue does not go forth, well then, dear friends, how can you expect anyone, anywhere, to really connect with anyone else and come up with a common solution, a common choice to a common problem? Do you see the point?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, wouldn't you say?